Okay, so I'll take the very basic entity, which is account in all the centers. So I'll tell you what is a, data model in Billing Center. So data model is nothing but a tables. These are tables that we store in the database. But as per Java, what we call it as a data objects. What we do is like at runtime, we used to generate this object, and we used to, we create an instance of this object and store the value in the database. So in billings and in Guidewire, basically, we have already existing objects that is available in Guidewire. So what Guidewire does is they basically give almost 90% of all the required objects available. If we could see on the left side, sorry, if we take data and entity, so these are all the defaultly available entities that is given by Guidewire. Billing center is a kind of little bit less, but if you see in policy center, the data model is very huge. The data model is the key structure in a Guidewire. So what it does is like based on this data structure, all the functionality and all those things vary depending upon it. So in case billing center, what I have taken right now is an account table. The OOTB, which is like the Guidewire already provided a table for account, and that ends with that ends with E, T, and I. So this table ETI, right? This is the one that has been created by Guideware. If I want, thing is like this table is already created. We can use this existing table and we can, use the whatever the columns that is being available there. So these are the table columns that we have added in Guidewire. If you see in database, you could see account dot, in account, there will be account number, account name, close date, and this is DBA, FAN, choice. These are all the different values that is stored in the database fields, stored as database fields in the, database. So basically, what Guidewire does is like it has this pre-existing data model that is already available. Whatever transaction, whatever we do in the UI, right? That Guidewire create an instance of that object and it stores in the database. If you are creating a new account, right? What happens? A new entry will be made in the account table with the information like account name will be added, account number will be added. Then these are all some billing center columns I'll tell you one by one. I'll tell you some of the things that is necessarily needed, and some of the columns, whatever the required fields that we need, that we used to give fill in the account entity, and we if we click on update, right, that value will be stored in the database. And what happens is like this object will be created and it will be stored as a data in the database. Um, the entity that is given by Guidewire will finish with a extension called .eti. So this .eti files, right? These files are the one that is given by OOTB products. And if you want to extend any of the entity, or if you want like in account ETA, in case if we want to add another column, or if you want to add any field, if you want to add anything according to the customer implementation, then you need to extend this entity called account.eti. So this account.eti should be extended in the in this below subcategory. It should be extended in this package only. I have already done it, so I'm just showing you what I have done. In the configuration, config extensions, we basically what we do is like we extend the OOTB account table. What I have done is like I've added for test purposes I've added that. I have added a delegate and I have added a column called bank account number. Then I have added array entity. Then I have added a type key. Then an array. So whatever the values that I need to add, I am just adding it in the account entity. What I'm doing is like on top of Guidewire OOTB account table, I'm adding some columns that is required for me. I'm not disturbing any of that. So in order to create an entity, create an entity or to extend an existing entity, we used to go to this package extensions entity. Then what you have to do is you have to right click on here, then you have to click on new, and you have to select the entity or entity extension. Suppose if you click on entity, right, what you're doing is like you are creating a new table on the Guidewire data, I mean like billing center data model. So I can give an entity named test, and a description like test users, I mean like test ABC, something like that. Then this will be the table name that will be stored in the database. This if you give this as final, if you select this as final, this table cannot be subtyped. Subtype is nothing but there will be a parent table and there will be a child table. I mean like we can create a child table for that table. So if we I mean like if you unselect this one, you can create a subtype. Otherwise you cannot be able to create a subtype. You have to usually what you will do is like you'll create an entity, give the description, then if you click on OK, an entity will be created. So we have created an entity right now. So this is a dummy entity. We need to add something to this. So basically what we do is like to add a column, I mean like to add fields in the entity. If you see here, there is a plus arrow here. Select here and add a column. So column I'm adding as test, I mean username. So what will be the type for this username? Whether it is text or int or byte or any other, I mean like any other, I mean data type. So since we are giving a value of username, this will be of type string. So the string won't be available in the database. So what I'm doing is like I'm selecting type called text. There is also short text, long text, and a medium text. Usually, I use text and I mean the short text. This null okay, right? If you select this value as true, when you're creating an instance of this object, this value should not be null. If this is null, then it will throw a null constraint exception. So always like if you want, you can give it as true, null okay true. If the null okay is false, right? What happens is like if this value is not, I mean like not being populated at the instance, it will throw a null pointer exception. I mean null constraint exception. Um, so then I'm adding in another column. Column I told you, and I can add a foreign key relationship. Okay, a foreign key is sorry. I mean, like from this table, I'm establishing a relationship to account table. So how do I do that? Is like basically I add a foreign key column attribute here, and in this I point this table to account table. So basically I'm giving users account. This is the name of the column that I'm giving. And in the foreign key entity, what you have to do is you have to select the entity which you are pointing to. Null okay. I mean, usually we give this value as false for a foreign key relationship. Then similar ways you can add a array entity as well. Array entity is nothing but if you could take like if you take a person can let me think through an example. There will be, I'll tell you in the billing center standpoint itself, and there will be one account. In account, there can be n number of policies. So account is a table. In that, there is an array of policy period that is being attached to it. So in that case, an account table has an array of policy period. Let me confirm what I have said. Array of contacts. Yeah. So account has a array of policies. It can also have array of history. I mean, like these are all different array entities that are tagged to the account entity. um, when you're adding an array entity, right? So now I'm pointing this array entity to a entity called note. Then what you have to do is you have to go back to the note entity, and you should add a foreign key relationship from note to this test.eti. Why I'm establishing this relationship is like in Guidewire, there is in order to add an array entity, there should be a two-way relationship that needs to be done on this. So I have added three values here. Then what else we can add? So this is an delegate. Delegate is nothing but we have OOTP implementations method that is given by Guidewire. If you go deeper into this, you guys might have heard about the pre-update rules, and you guys might have heard about all the, I mean, like bean update and all those things. So for all those to work, right, we need to add a delegate. I mean, like I'm just taking any of this delegate and just applying it. So these are the delegates that is available in Guidewire as of now. I mean, available in Guidewire for Billing Center. This code we cannot see it using a Guidewire decompiler code. You can see that, but these are all Guidewire implementation. I mean implemented delegate that we are using on top of the entity that we are creating it. Then what else we use mostly in object? Yeah, type key. I'll tell you separately about type key. Type key is like, I mean, like we have the list of values. So if you take India, and India, there will be, I mean, more than 30 states, something like that. So what we'll do is like we store all the states as a different value. I mean, we store all the states as a type in a separate table called state.type key. And from that, we can select any one of the state for the account. So I'll tell you how this type key concept works. Since I said about state, I'll select the state type key. Mm, Let me tell you the state. So we have added type key, and then we use. So these are all what I have added. These are all the sum of the fields that we use in project mostly. The other fields, right? This field are check constraint, consistent custom consistency check, daytime ordering, DB check builder. These are all Guidewire fields that will not be using it on for any of our I mean entity what we are creating. These are all internal fields that is added by Guidewire, and we should not use this one. Check constraint, custom consistency check, daytime ordering, DB checker. Then we should not use jointable table consistency check. Then validate type key insert, validate type key not insert. We should not use these kind of fields in an entity. One more common thing that we use in billing center is a monetary amount cell. Monetary amount cell is nothing but uh, so this cell stores the value of the money that is tagged to any of the in billing center, it mostly relates with money. So whatever I mean, like if you take an account, for how much dollars this policy has been issued, we used to give that value. I mean, like that value is being stored in this monetary amount cell. I mean, like monetary amount column. Um, so these are all some of the most commonly used columns in a Guidewire Billing Center entity standpoint. Adding get called extractable here. So thing is like this is for an I'll tell you for more example. I will show you for I have added this delegate as a event aware entity. So if I add this delegate as event aware, right? If you are making any change to this delegate, an event can be triggered on top of it. Uh, did you guys ever come across this event fired rules, messaging, and all those things? Heard about that in policy center? I mean, like in your training? Yeah. So to trigger this, so I'll tell you the same. If we go here in the event fire rules, I mean, like I didn't configure much anything here. If I want to, what happens is like in this case, if something is being changed, we can trigger an event and we can generate. So basically, what we do is like when there is a change in the entity, what happens is like we can trigger an event out of it. From the event, we can send it to the Excel system via a messaging queue. So I didn't configure any of that code. So I'll show you that when we are working. I mean, like when you're working with I mean, going with when I'm taking the topic, I'll take a simple example and I'll show you that. Okay. Column you can add string and you can add int, you can add double float. I mean, all these types are being available. So these are the different types that is available in the column. So mostly what we use is like we use text and we use integer. Yeah, not long int. We use integer. Then we use no, I mean like non-negative money. Then um, we use like kind of double percentage and all those things. Then there is one more thing that we can add here, column parameter. Column parameter is nothing but on top of it, what should be the, I mean like if I'm adding a username, right? That username should have only string values. So you can add a validator there, and you should give a validator name. Uh, I mean exactly to be here. So I have created one validator for that. So I added a column called bank account number in an account. And for an account, I have created a validator called EFT bank account number. So if we could see here, right? So this is a validator that is added by me. So that validator should have input mask like this, and it should have 0 to 9 digits, and like it should have 7 to 12 digits. Sorry, it should have 7 to 12 digits, and it should have only int values. I mean up to 0 to 9. This is the validator that I have added for that. Similar ways, if you want to have only character value that is available for this, you can add a validator in this field validator.xml, and you can give only the, I mean, this character type. So this one additional thing we can do in an entity. So basically, in entity, we have metadata metadata entities. In metadata entities, like we have all the OTB. I mean, like we have all the OTB tables and XMLs. On top of it, if you want to extend something, on top of it, if the customer gives a requirement stating that I want to have a field called, I mean, like main languages in the account name, language, what language the person is speaking, what language this account is from, which region this account is from. So if they give a requirement something like this, we what you have to do is like we have to extend the account table, and from the account table, we'll be adding the necessary columns what we need, and we'll be populating the data in the PCF or either in the backend. So I mean, like when you're extending an account table, it has a suffix of .etx, and if you're creating a new entity that is not available in the Guidewire data model itself, then it will have a suffix of uh, .ati. Um, So done this changes. Let me delete this test.eti. If I do this right, this will not. I mean, like, so after making the changes, I need to restart my server. Then I go into type list. Similar ways, similar to, I mean, like ETA tables, we have type list tables that is available in Guidewire. Some of the type list that is previously given will be available under the not- so these are all the defaultly available type list that is given by Guidewire. So whatever that comes under metadata, right? You should not do any changes here. If you're, I mean, like will not be able to do it because this is a read-only file. But in case, I mean, I don't know whether we can delete this. Yeah. So there is a when we can delete a type list or we can delete a table, we can do something like that. Don't ever go and make any change in this config metadata, either it is an entity or if it is a type list. Don't make any changes in this particular package. Whatever you want to do, you can do it in the extensions. So if you could see here, this is a extension table. From here, you can do whatever you want. You can either delete this, you can either add this, you can add a value, you can do delete a value, you can do whatever thing you want in a type list. I have taken this example of state. Uh, So if you could see, since I have worked with the US clients, they have given states that is available for US. So these are the different types of states that is available for US. And in an account, if you want to create an account in that, if you want to add a user that is for a particular state, if we click on the drop down, right, the state values will be displayed. From the different states, we can select any of that type key value and we can map it back to that. I will show you in the UI how this data entities will work. We will not be creating any account or policies and a policy in Billing Center. But for to show you guys, I'm just creating an account in Billing Center. So I have clicked on a new account, right? In what happens is like a new instance of account entity will be created in the backend. I mean, like a new account row will be inserted in the account table. This account name is the value that we are passing in here. Then I have added a bank account number validator, right? And that should have a masking of hash that I have given in the field validator.xml. So I'm just giving this value. This account name is a column of type. It should be of type text. Okay. I hope you'll be able to see my screen. Account dot account name. Yeah. So this is account dot we have a column called account name in the account table. So this is what we are entering here as well. Test user. So this account name is test user. This is a value that we are applying on the account name column. And then type. This type is of type list. So if you could see, right, the type list is basically, it displays a drop down of values. So if these are the four type list that is available available for this particular field. So that's why it's displaying here. I have showed you about state, right? I'll show you, I mean, like how many states are being displayed there. Then what is the billing plan that we need? I mean, that we need to select for this account, and delinquency plan not needed about this. If I click on state, right? Uh, Sorry, I went through that. So if we could see, right, there is an account name we are giving the value, and it would be populated, and bank account number I'm just populating it there. Then we have billing plan, delinquent. I mean, these are the mandatory fields that we need to enter into the account. Then we have, I mean, like what I'm doing is, like if I click on contact, if I'm adding a new person, for adding a contact, I showed you about the state type list, right? The list of values that is available in the state. So that type list values we are being mapped to this state in the PCF. So I can select any of the state here. I'm selecting Arizona here, and I can give the person name, last name, suffix, everything, and address line 1, 2, 3, all those things I can give it. And if I click on update, right, this will be updated. So what happens is, like if I click on create account, it creates an instance of the account object and it stores in the database. Um, so this is what I'm trying to say. Like you guys might have worked with in data model, I mean entities in policy center. I mean, like, can you tell me what you have worked and like any challenges that you have faced in the data model in policy center? And sorry, one more thing I want to show it to you. I want to show you about the data dictionary. So a data dictionary is something, but it contains all the information about the entity that is available in Guidewire or Billings. So I have generated this data dictionary for Billing Center, and this is for account. In an account, right? So what is an account, and what are the different delegates that is implementing? So it is implementing document container, event aware, history event container, whole related entity, note container, retirable, TA account owner, and validatable. These are the delegates that account is being implementing. Then, so what are the messaging events that is available for the account entity? We have account resynchronized, then account added, account changed, account removed. So if you add some values in the pre-update rules, right, this will be messaging events will be updated. Then if I go in the bottom right, these are the different fields or columns that is available for the account table. ID is like it is auto populated from the backend. Account currency group, this is what this is an field that is being added, and account name what we have seen. So if you see here, right, if there is an account name that is of short text. Your short text can contain maximum value of 255 characters. So that is displayed here. Then account type, what is the type of the account? The type key I told you, right? This, I mean, this is the type key of that. So similar ways, you can see about the data model. You can generate the data model for which center you have, and you can check if you have any doubt about any fields in a table, you can check it from here as well. So these are, I mean, like account table is a very big table in billing center. So it contains a lot of columns. If I take a small table, how do I know there's a small table? Let me take any of the table address. Yeah, this is a small table. In address, we have, I mean, like description, valid until address type, column, then type key, column, that's it. Then an index. How should be, like it should be ID, postal code, and retired. The note is I recently worked with this entity, node.eti. So this is also a very small and small entity. So we have body. I mean, these are the columns that is added in the node entity. And if I want to extend anything, I can add. I mean, like I can extend it in the configuration, config extensions, and I can create a new entity or entity extension. So I showed you how to create a new entity, right? I didn't show you how to create an entity extension. Entity extension. So new entity extension. Then you can give some name. I mean, like you can, if we click on here, right, this will be extended. There is no extension entity. So if we could see, right, I extended the account adjustment table, and I have extended. If I want, I can add any of the values here. So I'm not adding anything here, so I'm just deleting it. So always while deleting, right, if if you have added some entity accidentally, and if you want to delete it, right, please follow this one. Suppose if I'm taking the same thing. So right click here. There will be refactor and a safe delete. So why we use a safe delete is like whether if this entity is being used some other page or some other PCF, well, if you're deleting it, right, it will throw error in all the pages. So always use this safe delete. Um, so I mean, like today as a practice, you can do this. Um, try to do this one. Create a new entity. So that entity should have the extension of .ati. Then extend an existing entity, not RTI, should be ATI. That entity should have extension of .etx. Then create a new type list. When you're creating a new entity, add columns. In column, add a text. Sorry. Add a text, then string. Sorry, both are same. Text int value, then percentage. Try to add the double all these things. Then try to add a foreign key. Try to add type key. We mostly use it. Try to add a type key. Try to add multiple columns and give value one by one, and try to just create an entity for today. Later class, we'll check how to use that and populate the value in the backend and all those things. Just try to do this one, create a new entity, extend an existing entity, create a new type list, and extend the existing type list. Add these columns, that's it.
Okay, Vinay.
You guys might have already done it. Try to do this, and if you guys are facing any issues, right, reach out to me. We'll connect before the session. We'll have a half an hour session. If you have any doubt in between, I'll speak with the coordinators.
Sure, Vinay.
Okay. Mm, only okay. Not for anything else. In Billing Center, when we log in, right? When we log into Billing Center, so I'll show you. I log out of Billing Center. This is just for a training purpose. Okay. So if we come into Billing Center, for Billing Center, what you have to do is you have to take an existing account, and you have to do the transactions post on. Just a minute, let the account load. So in Billing Center, what we'll do is like we'll search for the account or policy number. We retrieve the account. On top of it, we make the transactions and all those things. So this is what I mean, like we receive everything, each and everything will be delivered from policy center to us, account policies and all those things. So what we'll do is like from here we'll make a payment, and we go to the invoices, we'll check what are the invoices that is being allocated, then whether we have made payment and what are the payments that we need to make, and whatever how many policies are being allocated here, and what are the charges that we have, what disbursements. I mean, these kind of things only we'll be doing in billing center, not creating an account or policy. What I've told today is like just create an I mean, like create a new entity, or I mean, extend the existing entity. This is a basic of data model changes. That is what I have tried to ask you guys to do. That not create an account in billing center, not to create a policy in billing center. Just create. What I have said is like I have asked you to create only this. Create a new entity. The entity will should be of any type. The extended existing entity. It should be of any type. So if you create do like this, right, then tomorrow if you're working in the PCF, I'll tell you how you can relate this with the PCF.